just in the nick of time. What does that make us?
Big damn heroes, sir.
Ain't we just?
I am Dracula. I bid you welcome.
My God. Now she's dead.
No, she's not.
She's alive?
She's Nosferatu.
She's Italian?
I say track, that makes it sound very weird. But
Inviting people to stalk me on the internet.
that's what Facebook and Twitter or Instagram especially, that is just legal stalking. So how can people legally stalk you?
They can.
I got to check because I'm terrible and I can never remember.
This week's topic is top 5 favorite vampire movies. Now, I hope you've brought your list. Have you brought your list?
Yeah.
You brought your list in your head? That's good. Have you got your list?
I have thought about
That's
this
a no.
so many times, and I haven't been able to narrow it down to 5. So I'll just mention the first 5 that pop into my head because that's about the only way I'm going to do this.
Well, here's the thing: the 5 that you mentioned, right? They're solid. They're locked in for good. There's no way you can change it. So it's basically, if anyone would speak to you after this and they say, "Why did you pick Dracula Dead and Loving It as your number 1?" That's your choice. It's you. That's you've done. You're done. You happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
That's
and that
good.
actually would be my number 1 as well.
Fair enough. Charlotte, please tell us your number 5 and your number 4 pick.
My number 5 and my number 4 would probably be Dracula, Prince of Darkness.
Which one's that?
That was. Was it the second or third Christopher Lee one? With Hammer?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I
Sorry,
can't remember
yes.
whether it was second or third. But yeah, the Prince of Darkness would be, I think, my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4, I think, would be Interview with a Vampire.
Oh, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst. Oh, that's Antonio Banderas as well.
You see, the accent comes in there as well.
Well, no, but that's different because Antonio Banderas, the accent is good because he's supposed to be a Lothario, and it's sort of Spanish and Italians. That's what it's. You have categories, right? You have. You're not gonna. I'm gonna offend a whole bunch of people as well. I was like, you're not gonna look for someone who's a Casanova who's gonna come in and sweep women off their feet and then have a Welsh accent being spoken.
It's not a sexy accent, what can I say?
I'm just saying, But yeah, so that's why he gets that one.
I think Tom Jones would disagree.
Yeah, but he's not really going on the Welsh accent, is he? I mean, he's got the baritone voice, he's singing, he's got the sex appeal that he oozes. It's not from the Welsh accent. If anything, it's in spite of the Welsh accent.
I remember watching the Tom Jones show when I was younger, unfortunately, and he spent a lot of time talking, and there was a lot of women in the thing just screaming their heads off anyway.
Yeah, but did those women go to watch that show because they were going to hear him talk, or because he went, "It's not unusual to have fun with anyone"?
I think they were going to throw their underwear at him anyway, irrespective of what he was going to do. So,
he is a sexy man.
Well, there you go, and he's got a Welsh accent as well.
That's
so,
true. I'm just afraid that Charlotte's going to hit me in the back of the head. Don't.
I thought I'd just jump in there.
Stop dissing Welsh. Okay. So we got your number 5 and number 4. Diane, what's your number 5 and number 4?
I would say Prince of Darkness as well.
Good. Okay.
Although for me, number 4, I would put in the element of comedy, and I would say Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Best Leslie Nielsen, Mel Brooks movie. Yeah. It was hovering around my list, but I didn't put that on there. The Prince of Darkness. I love that movie because that's basically what scarred me for life for Dracula, right? Which is why Christopher Lee is my Dracula. It's that, especially because it's Hammer, right? The UK production company that did horror movies in the 50s and 60s, etc. There's a sort of a greenish tinge to his skin color, which still haunts me today. Which is why whenever I think Dracula, I think Bela Lugosi. I watched that and it doesn't scare me. The Luke Evans one doesn't scare me. The guy that was in Blade Trinity, that doesn't scare me. But when I think Dracula that scares me, it's Christopher Lee, and it's because of that particular movie. So
you still have nightmares, huh?
I do. I do. Hey, I'm a 30-something old man, and I'm honestly, if I were to put that movie on right now and watch it, I would have to sleep with the lights on. So.
Oh my god. I think the change over the years when it comes to the Dracula character, I think, and anybody is free to correct me, the studios have gone to, in a way, represent the character in a more, I wouldn't say artificial way, but they try to bring more elements into the character. It's not about being gothic and being scary and about, how people, how scared people will feel when, they watch the movie.
Yeah.
It's about what other emotions does this character have.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I think they tried to actually give a more, shall I say, full round view of the character and of how it came to being.
No, that's true, because if with the progression of the Dracula character itself in cinema, especially, it pretty much started with Nosferatu. And that was mainly because is it I can't remember his name, but the director was trying to get the rights to do Bram Stoker's Dracula, but the Bram Stoker estate wouldn't let him have Dracula, so he created this character called Nosferatu, and he made the character that hideous monster. I think maybe more of a shot at the Bram Stoker estate for not letting him use the character, so he made it a horrible character. But Bram Stoker's actual Dracula was that, not Lothario, but more that seducer. And so that it sort of came through when the rights finally got allowed to be used, and Bela Lugosi played it on stage first and then moved it into the movies. So he was more of a seducer. But again, in that, because of the time, there was a different element of the seduction that was used. As it progressed, Hammer and in the 50s, they decided to make it more scary and more gothic, which is why it went into that aspect. But you're absolutely right. As it came to recent times, they changed the style of Dracula. So in the 80s and 90s, that's why Francis Ford Coppola did the Gary Oldman version, Bram Stoker's Dracula, where he was more of a human. You recognize him more as a human. He's the humane side. So you're absolutely right. It's that change to move him to make him more humane. But that was your number 5. What's your number 4? Or was your number 4 Dead and Loving It?
Yeah.
Dead and Loving It. Yes, Mel Brooks.
No matter how many times I will see this movie, it always gets me. I always laugh at the same spots, at the same scenes, and the way he's coming across. I think nobody will be ever able to replace him as the fun Dracula.
Yes, and you're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Leslie Nielsen was comedic genius, and that movie is I agree. I like Dracula Dead and Loving It. For me personally, is not one of my favorite of the Mel Brooks movies, but I watch it because of Leslie Nielsen. I think he's fantastic in that movie.
There is a specific scene, sorry to interrupt,
No.
on this film that Mel Brooks is trying to, with another character, is trying to actually stab the vampire.
With Steven Weber, yeah.
Yeah, and he says, I think she had a bit of blood today, and then by the time they stab her, it's everywhere.
Yes.
I think my favourite scene from that one is when he falls down the stairs and he walks up fine and his shadow's kind of hobbling up the stairs.
It's the shadow.
It was brilliant. His shadow was fantastic. It was a character in his own and I love it.
Well, Charlotte, what's your number 3 and number 2?
I'm actually going to go with Dusk Till Dawn as well.
Hey.
That was an awesome movie, and I think I'm going to actually pair that one up with...
as both your number 3, or you're going to do number 3 and number 2?
As both my number 3. Pair that one up with Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So the same repeating ones coming on?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your number 2?
My number 2, I think, would have to be... I'm going to go with Horror of Dracula. First, Christopher Lee.
Sure, okay. That's fine, because we love Christopher Lee as Dracula. We've all established that one. Okay, Diane, what is your number 3 and number 2 favorite vampire movie?
I would say for number 3, I have to put Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
And together with Van Helsing, with Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
And Kate Beckinsale. They're two totally different movies altogether. Sure. And it's a shame because I believe everybody here in this room have seen Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. Yes. It's such a shame. It leaves you with a kind of taste. Oh, what is going to happen in the end? There is more to come.
Sure,
That's
because they had this whole idea for Van Helsing to make it into a franchise. It's supposed to be a franchise movie, right? Because it's an adventure vampire movie.
Exactly.
But
I heard that didn't do well in the box office, unfortunately.
It bombed in the box office, and they just said, nope, scrap that idea, and no, they're not going to, because they wanted to. they wanted to kind of move that into the whole monster movie. So you had Frankenstein's monster in there as well, and the werewolf and so on. That was supposed to be to kickstart that, but that didn't really work. Okay, so that was your number 3. That was your number 3.
Number 2, I would say Dracula Untold.
Dracula Untold.
Luke Evans. Again,
yes. Sorry, yes. Yeah, the Welshman's doing well on the show. We're all talking our favorite vampire movies. We're about to go around the table and talk number 1 favorite. Charlotte?
I've got a tie again for number 1.
Okay.
30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
And Dracula Untold.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Of course.
Luke Evans
Again,
is
two
just racking
quite
it.
different movies, but yeah, Luke Evans is rocking this show and he's not even here.
Sure, Luke Evans is not going to be on my list. I'm telling you all of that just now, just so you know. Because even if he was going to be on my list, I'm crossing him off because he's getting way too much attention on this show, and I'm a very jealous person. I'm kidding. Diane, what's your number 1?
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, that's popped up once before. Yeah, that was your number 5, right? Or number 4? Number 4. Your number 4, yes.
For me, it was a very, very, very first movie I saw.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not giving out my age right now.
That came out in the 90s, right? So, yeah. You would have seen it when you were like 3, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. I do know how to put on the charm sometimes. Terrible. Stupid.
And I remember I was, in a way, drawn to the characters, but from the fact that they actually portray the characters in a very humane way.
Okay.
You see Louis, he's so... I'm not going to use that word here.
Okay.
I'm going to say he was so confused about his identity. What kind of... what is he? What is his nature? Am I human? Am I vampire? I don't like the fact that I am a vampire, despite the fact that I chose it. And you have the kick-ass Tom Cruise coming in, trying to teach him a lesson and tell him, this is who you are, accept it now, you have to move on.
Sure.
So I like that kind of aspect that played up throughout the film, and it touched on the emotional side of the characters.